So good morning everybody. I am Dipanjan Ghosh. Today I want to discuss about the absorption of food stuff. So the absorption process is actually proceed to the small intestine, and we know there are small finger-like projections present in small intestine, which is called the VE, that is the unit of absorption. And the small intestine contain near about 50x V presence in the small intestine to the 10 meter square area. So this is the pictorial presentation of vias. Here we have seen different goblet says microvilli, mucosa, submucosa, bad capillary and acti. And if we come to the aspect of carbohydrate absorptions, then we can find out how do the glucose is actually absorbed by NAPS monosaccharide support systems, but fructose is actually absorbed by NAPS independent diffusion process. So first of all, I discuss about NAPS monosaccharide support systems. Okay, so basically D-glucose and D-galactose are basically absorbed by that process. Here basically NAPS plays a very crucial role, and if we see that structure, then we can find out. So NAPS and glucose, they are actually transported from intestinal cavity to say by carrier, and basically the fasciated diffusion process is proceed here, and it will go to the blood by diffusion process. And in that picture we have seen the NAPS and glucose support systems support. This is the directions are same. They have come from the intestinal cavity, and it will pass through the GLUT2 receptor is basically responsible for that, and then that glucose is actually come to the capillary, to the blood capillary. So this figure is actually depicts the absorptions of glucose. And we know basically if we use fluorogen, and it inhibits that process. Okay, and basically in case of defructose is actually the absorption is actually happen by NAPS independent fasciated diffusion process. And here we have seen the cytochromamine is the inhibitor of that process. Now the question is that what are the physical forces which help for the rapid absorptions of carbohydrate? So if we see the proper digestion is very essential. As much as digestions will occur, then the monosaccharides will be generated much amount. The presence of phosphoric acids and phosphokinase is very essential to the epithelial tissue. Insulin presence is very essential, we know, and different types of subtype of vitamin, just as thiamine, pantothenic acid, and pyridoxines, will facilitate that absorption process. And we know that presence of sodium ion helps to that absorption process, and GLUT5 is also essential for that. Now I come to the aspect of protein, and that pepsin or polypeptide is basically come to the bifurcated in two form, that is one is free amino acid and other is oligopeptide. And oligopeptide basically polypeptide is break down by the actions of trypsin and chymotrypsin. We know ER stage carboxypeptide A and B, and it will conform free amino acids and oligopeptide, and that particular oligopeptide is actually break down by endopeptidase and amino peptidase, and it will convert to that oligopeptide is convert to di and tripeptide,